Today we're starting out in Sapulpa, Oklahoma, traveling down the old road.
But we're not traveling down the mother road. There's another old road that passes through Sapulpa. It's US 75. Before the Beeline was built, 75 passed right through the middle of Sapulpa. Today we're going to follow Old 75 to Okmulgee and then eventually end our day at Dripping Springs State Park.
So pull up a couch and come right along.
A lot of people don't realize that the old alignment of US 75 is still an active designated highway between Sapulpa and Beggs.
You know, I'm a sucker for an old highway. Anytime I'm traveling, I see the old route taken off to the side, I want to go follow that and see where it goes. But what's really cool is sometimes you can find the old road just by looking at the signs. And here in Sapulpa, you'll actually see a sign for Alt 75.
Cruising down the main drag of Sapulpa is kind of fun because, you know, they're really into the Route 66 thing, and there's a lot of cool storefronts, and they've restored a lot of those old advertisements that you see there in the alleys and on the brick walls and things like that.
So we're cruising Dewey in the middle of Sapulpa. We figured out that they've got music piped in all over town, and apparently it's synced up on Sapulpa time. So if you check the clock, which has been frozen for I don't know how many years, the music falls right along in that. I don't know if it was just off, maybe in a different time zone. Sapulpa might be in a different time zone. But we got on Old 75 and headed south from there. And Old 75, you can pick it up and get off of the Beeline and give yourself something to look at and something to do. It contains all these small towns all the way down south. There's a whole lot more scenery to look at, a few little twists and turns, tree covered. A lot of people still live out there too. After Sapulpa, one of the first towns you come up on is Kieffer.
Most people don't realize it, but there was a huge, around the turn of the last century, lots of wildcatters, lots of oil business, and you know, Kieffer was actually a pretty bustling place back then.
But one of my favorite shops, one of my favorite donut shops in the world was down in Kieffer, which we've discovered has now just closed a couple months ago. It was the Donut and Bait Shop. So you could walk in and pick up your donuts and coffee and then go over to the other counter down the other side of the store and go ahead and get you some minnows and worms and whatever else you need to go fishing that day.
They have this excellent minnow rolls, I believe is what they're called. It's like a sausage roll, but it has minnows in it.
The thriving community of Mounds comes up after Kieffer. They run a lot of car shows through there, and the people in the town are quite active, so they've always got something going on.
I did find out that the reason it's called Mounds is when the town was started, nearby there were mounds. And I guess, you know, it was like those, you know, mound building people from ancient times or something had buried somebody there, I don't know. Anyway, I asked around. Nobody knew where the mounds were today, so maybe they sold them on eBay.
So, Brad, you used to live here in Beggs, right?
Well, not right in town. I lived out in the suburbs.
Oh, okay.
Just outside of town.
Like a bedroom community kind of thing?
Right. Just
Okay.
north of here.
Okay.
So we didn't have to fight the traffic. You know,
Right,
You live
right.
in town. And
I imagine I hear about 5 o'clock. It can take like 30, 40 seconds to get across town.
It's a mess.
Beggs is one of the classic boomtown type places. At one time, it had 4 trains a day stopped in Beggs. From 1905 to 1915, there were wildcatters. There were 15 oil companies represented in the town of Beggs, all drilling for oil, all trying to hit their jackpot there in the Glenpool.
You know, when you're coming down Alt 75, you come through Beggs, and the sign here tells you to turn. Well, what it's really doing is just going to put you back to the Okmulgee Beeline. But we're rebelling, because that's our nature. And after careful examination, we decided that the old highway kept going straight here.
We looked at a map.
It was a really old map.
We headed out on Old 75, the unmarked but Old 75, and had to stop at Deliverance Tabernacle on the urging of our cameraman.
You can hear the banjo playing from here.
I think he just liked the name. I don't know if he ever took a card or wrote their address down like he was going to come back and attend services, but he had to stop and get some pictures of it.